don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 550th episode of the Political Spotlight. It's we're more or less on time. Forget those 6 minutes, but it's either 9 o'clock or it's 10 o'clock or it's 8 o'clock. We're in that time period again, folks. I am so sorry. Listen, for everybody that's bitching about this time frame, timeline, time change, this is the better time change. I mean, it sucks because of the darkness and the lightness, but it's at least they didn't take an hour from us. You know, getting an hour is always better than losing an hour. So it's still bad. It's not good. Everybody's discombobulated. I'm like, God, I'm so tired because it's like 10 o'clock right now, but we'll get used to it. It's easier to get used to this one than it is to get used to the other one. The other one takes forever. And it's so weird. I read, I think that Admiral Eric said that he was watching the clock last night and it changed from 1:59. It's 1:59 and 50 seconds. It's 1:59 and 56 seconds. It's 1:59 and 58 seconds, 59 seconds, and 1:59 and 59 seconds. Then it clicks. One more second, turns to 1 o'clock again. It's so weird to watch. So strange to watch happen. It's kind of creepy, but we're here, and I don't know. A lot of you don't know or don't really understand what goes into putting the studio together, the digital studio, not this crap behind me, but the digital studio. So when I create the link online that goes out to YouTube and to Facebook and to Twitter and to Rumble and all of that stuff, there's a lot that goes into it. I've got to create the thumbnail, which I've told you that I always hate doing. I've got to create a title, which I also hate doing. And I've, got to remember everything. And then I'm anal. If you go, if you look at most YouTubers, you look at the descriptions, a lot of them are all over the place. Some of them look like this, and the titles look like this, and the title might look, it's different from show to show to show or episode to episode to episode. I don't do that. Our stuff is uniform across the board. If you're watching the live video, it's the number, which is number sign, the hash symbol, hashtag, and then the 3-digit number. and thank God we're in the 3 digits, 5, 5 something. Then a line, then the title, then a line, and the political spotlight. And then the description has a description of the episode, and then all of our biographical information. It's always in there. And all of that, doing that and keeping up with all of that takes time, and it's a hassle. And a lot of times, because I have an idea of what I'm wanting to do for the show, I can't plan the show like weeks in advance because the nature of what it is. I'm talking about things as they come out, as they happen. There are times that I can plan a show a couple days in advance, like, ooh, I've got this really big topic and I'm really wanting to make sure that a lot of people can watch it. So we're going to talk about this on Thursday, and I can build that for Thursday. Or if I know there's a meeting and we're going to be live on location for the meeting, I can live stream the meeting and I can build that, like a city council meeting or a commissioner's meeting or something like that. I can get all of that stuff ready. But I can't always build the nightly shows, and that's kind of what sucks about it, because I've got to build it the day of, and sometimes I'm building it. I'm racing against the clock. I'm building it at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and it no matter if I sit down and I know what I'm talking about and putting it together, it takes me 30, 35 minutes on a quick spell to put everything together. Always, no matter what I do. I don't just sit down and go live. That's what people don't realize. And so sometimes that's the reason why we're late sometimes. But this show, ladies and gentlemen, I had put in place, I think Thursday night. I think we got done with the show on Thursday. Yeah, Keith, you get it. Everybody understands, but people just don't really know what goes on really behind it. So we got done with the show Thursday night, and I had everything that I had for this show. And what I wanted to talk about was so pressing on me. Like, I almost did a Friday or a Saturday show. Now, I do want to talk to everybody that are fans of the show or friends of mine. Fans, I hate saying fans. That's so gross. Friends, I consider you guys friends, not fans. That's weird. This is not Led Zeppelin. You're not watching. You didn't pay $75 to get in or $400 to get in the floor seats. I'm not playing Hey Jude or, like a Rolling Stone or anything like that. Sympathy for the Devil. Okay. Your friends, listeners, fans. I'm even okay with fans. What I hate is followers. When people say followers, I'm like, I'm not a cult leader, man. They're not followers. No one's following me anywhere. I'm not leading anybody any place. But I wanted to do possibly a Friday or Saturday show, but I have to talk to all of you that also cross over and will watch the Bilbrey and Clark show. Something happened this week that I just absolutely, absolutely hate. We also had a really good topic for Saturday's 5th episode of the Bilbrey and Clark show, and it was the title of the show is "The Truth Is Out There." That's obviously from the X-Files, and we were going to talk about UFOs and aliens. And Rachel and I, Thursday night after the show, after the Bilbrey, after the political spotlight, Rachel and I got together to record episode 5 of the Bilbrey and Clark show. And we got it ready. Everything was ready to go. And we had a technical glitch that I can tell you I have not had in the nearly 10 years that I broadcast. Show was ready to go. right as it was processing here, had a technical glitch, click, and we lost everything. And Rachel had travel for Rachel's job. She travels, so we were not able to put out. I was trying to do everything I could to salvage what we had for Saturday's show, so I had to put up a notice Saturday, and I know I disappointed a lot of people. We will do episode 5. It will now air next Saturday, November 8th. So that will be there. I know there were some people there were people contacting weird people that aren't even connected to that show, saying like, "Hey, where is it? What's going on?" And so for you people that watch stuff like that, I will always put it up on my Facebook page. I put it up on the Bilbrey and Clark Show Facebook page. I put it up on my private Kristopher Bilbrey, which I mostly use for the political spotlight. We put it up on our Twitter account, Bilbrey X Clark. And I also put it in the community page on YouTube of the Bilbrey and Clark Show. So if we can't go live or something like that, like I do here, I put it up so people are aware. Okay. So that's something you guys need to watch for if there's ever an issue. And we will be back. We'll do it. It'll be next week. So sorry about that. Sometimes that happens, but it is what it is. That said, I've had this episode ready, and it's a good one. I also have tomorrow night's council meeting, the live on location. I've already got it up. So if you guys are interested in watching about the city of Muncie, the meeting, and looking at the meeting, if you can't be there in person, that meeting is already up. It's a blue screen with the city of Muncie, like City Hall, and it says City Council meeting. It's got the date, Monday, November 3rd, 2025. That live recording will start at 6:45. So if you're watching, you can already see that. And then the show after that, this is episode 550. Episode 551, I already have made. So we are ready to go because I know what I'm talking about, and it's going to be a big thing. And you guys share this information. We need to help spread this to the Muncie people. This is big because something is going on here, and we need to help get this word out. And we need to help fight back against this, push back against this. And it's not just fighting the administration. It's now fighting the council. See, I've always separated the administration and the council because the administration hasn't, quote unquote, owned the council. But because they now have the Republican control, and because the Republican Party chairman approached me at the last Muncie City Council meeting, telling me to go easy on the council while they understand how to be a council that is now Republican led. I now know that it's all part of the administration. The council and the administration is now one, and it's not been that way for several years. Okay, so now we have a whole lot of different people we're pushing back against. So I'm going to need your help specifically for this episode, for tomorrow's council meeting, and for tomorrow's episode. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word and get this information out to people because we need it. And if you wouldn't mind, smash that like button. Go ahead, do that. Give us that like. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so and clicking all the buttons and do what you know that you need to do. Okay, so the reason that I was ready Thursday night for this show that we're watching right now, because I looked at the calendar on the wall and I realized what the date was. I realized Thursday night, oh crap. Oh crap. There's a council meeting on Monday. There's a council meeting on Monday, and that means if there's a council meeting on Monday, that means the agenda is already ready. It's already ready. And if the agenda is already ready, that means the packets are ready already. And we need to be looking over this. This is something really, had we not had everything crazy been going on the last couple of days, I should have looked at this a week ago. So we're behind schedule. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull up this council packet, this council agenda, and we're going to go through what the agenda is. Now, if you guys follow me on social media, a lot of you will already know, kind of some of the bigger points of what we're talking about. We've got two things that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about this council preparation. This is going to be a council prep show. And then at the end of the show, we're going to talk about me being a scumbag. I'm a scumbag. And I'm going to tell you why I'm a scumbag. And we're going to talk about that. Stumblefoot says, did you look at them and ask where your government... Yes, I did. Stumblefoot. All right. So you guys can see this. I've got this big enough. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you should be able to see this. I'm looking to see. It's Kate, can you see that well on your computer? Like you can read it? Let me see if I can blow it up one more. Yeah, okay. That's probably pretty good. All right. Kate says that's good. 200's good. I need to write that down and remember. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like it was just a couple weeks ago that we had a meeting. What's going on? Well, it was. So normally we have a full 30 days or maybe even more between meetings. We had a meeting on October 6th. Now, this meeting is coming November 3rd, so we're just a couple days shy of 30 here. However, we also had a meeting on October 16th because of the budget debacle. And so we've had these meetings, bam, bam, bam. Now, it's just right on top of each other. That's the reason this kind of caught me slipping. You know what I mean? Okay. So this is the amended agenda. That's interesting. First of all, they don't have the original agenda on. I'm going to issue a records request to the clerk's office tomorrow for the original agenda because I have a belief. I have a belief that I know what wasn't on the agenda, but I'm not. We'll get to it. So, first and foremost, I need everybody to realize this starts off with a public meeting. So tomorrow's meeting, normally Muncie City Council meetings begin at 7:00. This meeting will actually begin 15 minutes early at 6:45 with a public hearing. And the public hearing, just as a reminder, they open the meeting up. They say this is a public hearing. They will call the items that are going to be talked about. They will say Ordinance 3525 and Ordinance for Additional Appropriations, Muncie Police Department. And then they will say, is there anybody here to discuss this? And more than likely, Rick Yinser will get up and say something as he does, as he should. I wish more people would. Maybe I'll get him to say something. I don't know. It just depends. But he'll say, that'll happen. And then the council won't say anything. Then they will go on and read Ordinance 3625 and Ordinance for Additional Appropriations for the Fire Department / EMS. They won't say anything more. They will say, is there anybody here that has anything to say? Someone might get up. Someone might not get up. It just depends on what goes on. And then at the end of that, this is likely take just a couple of minutes. They will then say, okay, the public hearing is adjourned. For those of you that will be watching this unfold live, remember, because someone always says this every time, they'll tune in when before the meeting starts, and at the end of the public hearing, they'll be like, well, I don't hear anything. Remember, public hearing will begin at 6:45. The meeting will begin at 7. However soon the public hearing ends, if there's a few minutes in between, it'll just be nothingness, but the thing will still stream. So just be mindful of that. Then at 7 p.m., the meeting will start. We'll run through the Pledge of Allegiance, the invocation, the citizen recognition, and roll call, where they will call through the council. Everybody should remember that that's it may not be nothingness for the whole thing. It may be nothingness for the whole thing, though, to be fair. Kate reminds everybody. So who knows if they remember to flip that switch on the wall this time or not. Maybe it will be nothing. Yeah, that's a good point, Kate. I should have said that, but it is what it is. So your counselors that should be there tomorrow are Dale Basham, Rose Elvey, William McIntosh, Jeff Green, Nora Powell, Brandon Garrett, it may be, Sarah Gullion, Jerry Dishman, and Harold Mason. They will then do the approval of the minutes for the last couple of meetings. They will do the appointments to boards and commissions, the committee reports, and then we will slip into ordinances previously introduced. Okay, that's when we will go into Ordinance 3325. This ordinance was discussed at the last meeting, which that meeting would have been the October 6th meeting. This is an ordinance vacating a part of an alley located in block of 15th of T.H. Kirby's addition to the city of Muncie, Indiana. Okay, this is really kind of just a quick thing. It won't affect really many people other than the people right there next to it. And I'm sure they've already talked to everybody around, and we'll see if there's somebody that opposes this or whatever. I doubt they will. That's that. That then ends ordinances previously introduced. That will then take us into new ordinances. New ordinances. 3425, an ordinance to amend the City of Muncie's comprehensive zoning ordinance from the split zone of the R3 residence and R4 residence zone to the R3 residence zone on premises located at 100 North Hodson Avenue. Now, I am not sure what that is. We can go and look at the city ordinances and see what this is. Give me a second here and I'll pull this up so you guys can see it as well. But I don't particularly think it's anything that's really worth much. We'll tab between this. Here's the ordinance 3425, being an ordinance to amend the City of Muncie's comprehensive zoning ordinance from the split zone. Okay, let's see here. And everybody can find this. If you want to see this before tomorrow's meeting, you can go to the City of Muncie's Facebook or City of Muncie's website at muncie.in.gov. That's all you got to do in your search bar. And then you go to City Council. You click on City Council, and then you go to Muni Code. And then this is where you can view all of this. So we're just going to scan down through here real quick and see what this is. If this is anything of any major deal here. Doesn't look like anything major. Let's see who put it forward. Jerry Dishman. Yep. That sounds about right. Okay, so Jerry Dishman signed it. Sarah Shade Hamilton signed it. That she's a city attorney, and that's basically that. Okay. Yeah. So this seems like a pretty simple thing there. Basically, not a big deal. All right. So we'll kick back here to the agenda. Okay, so the next is the ordinances, the two ordinances that they had the public hearing on. Ordinance for additional appropriations, Muncie Police Department and Muncie Fire Department, 35 and 36. Okay, for that, we will kick back into the Muni code, and we'll share this and see what we get here. Okay, 3525, an ordinance for additional appropriations, Muncie Police Department. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to add appropriations for the Muncie Police Department related expenses. The following additional sums of money hereby appropriated, transferred, or reduced out of the funds named for the purpose of specified subject to the laws governing the same. Fund 106 is the Muncie Police Department. And we see that it is a capital equipment, $184,000, and perf expense, $216,000, for a total of $400,000. And we'll see who put this forward. Well, of course, Dale Basham in blue. Now notice Dale is now signing in blue. I cannot comprehend that. Nothing business. Everything should be signed in black. It blows my mind. But anyways, so that's what it is. We'll have to find out what they're wanting to do here. What are we doing? Taxpayers appearing at the meeting shall have the right to be heard. The additional appropriation has finally been made, referred to the Department of Local Government Finance. We'll have to find out tomorrow. It doesn't tell us. It doesn't tell us what they're wanting to spend this on. So we'll have to find out tomorrow what they're wanting to spend this on. So yeah, good. I mean, very, 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 very good question. And this will be the same for Ordinance 36 for the fire department. Let's look here what it is for the fire department. Because keep in mind, folks, this is not just $400,000 tomorrow. It's $400,000 plus $589,521, because the fire department is getting it too. The fire department's getting overtime, $260,000, and vehicles, $329,521, for a grand total of $589,521. So, as we all know, if anybody pays attention to anything in government, you should all be aware that the city police doesn't ever get anything that the Muncie Fire Department doesn't then get, or the Muncie Fire Department doesn't get anything that then the Muncie Police Department doesn't get, because if it's the departments, these two departments are like twins, right? They're like twins, and the city is like their parent, and the taxpayers, I guess. It's like the city's like their parent, and the taxpayers are like the step parent. And we're like, hey, now, like, shouldn't we be saving this money? Just because we give to one, does that, shouldn't we, that doesn't necessarily mean just because we're paying the police. I know they did away with it, but just because they did this is not the Me Too clause. This is not the Me Too clause. This is just, if they do for one, the other one bitches till they get it. So it's because the Me Too clause would be even. It would be 400,000 and 400,000, or it would be 589.51 and 589.51. This is just the police department reaches out and wants 400,000. So the fire department's like, wait a minute, we need to be able to get this to find out. And Carrie, it's not listed like that. It's listed separately because they're specifically in two different funds. So the funds aren't like in one public safety listing. They're in their separate funds. So that's the reason they're listed separately. Yes, and I saw that about the various different crashes of vehicles that Chafin has had. So yeah, that's a very good possibility. That's funny. Okay, so that's those two. Of course, we'll have to ask questions tomorrow on the day about what these are. We'll have to wait and see what they tell us. Okay, getting back to the agenda. We are now on Ordinance 3725. And this is the Ordinance 3725, an ordinance fixing the salaries for all elected officials of the City of Muncie for the year 2026. Ordinance 3825 is an ordinance amending the ordinances of 1625, fixing all maximum salaries for each and every appointed officer, employee, deputy assistant, departmental, institutional head of the City of Muncie, Indiana, included herein. And then Ordinance 3925 is an ordinance fixing the maximum salaries for each and every member of the Muncie Fire Department and the City of Muncie, Indiana for the year 2025. And, these basically are in accordance with everything that we've just done with the budget. And it's just par for the course, making sure that everything's fixed. Now, one of the questions here that I have, and for those of you that have been watching and really keep in mind with everything that I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks and definitely over the last month, is I have a list of questions that I have. And one of the questions that I have is about the appropriations that we found out that the city has made already without coming to the council and asking. Now, one of the emails that we have from Mayor Ridenour to Nora during that process says that he was planning on bringing the appropriations to the council at the end of the year, that they were planning on doing it in November and December, but I'm not seeing those appropriations here. Now, maybe they're included in these ordinances. So that's one of the questions that I'm going to be asking tomorrow. And I guess I'll probably stand up and I will ask it when we get down to Ordinance 38. I will bring up that email, and I have some different questions about it, but I'm not going to go through those questions currently because I don't want to give it away to anyone so they can have a prepared statement. So I'm going to wait and hold off on that until tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow when we get to Ordinance 3825. I might very well speak at different ordinances before that, but you can guarantee when we get to 3825, when they get to the point where they allow citizens to get up and speak, I'm going to ask a question, and I expect some serious answers. So that's that. I want to see what these questions say here. I've got to go to the meeting. I've never seen a bunch of fools spend $1 million in 5 seconds. It's definitely something people should come see. I would highly recommend it. Why should taxpayers pay for the fire department when they have all the EMS money? Yeah, isn't that interesting, Rachel? How Delaware County EMS had a cash cow with the EMS program. They were able to make money hand over fist, and it was like the golden goose. That's the reason they fought so hard. They didn't want to give it up. They didn't want the city to now cut into their baby. And they were able to do all kinds of things with their monies. Put new roofs on county buildings and do wild things with it. But yet we've got the EMS program now, and it's like, now we don't have the entire EMS program. That might be a little bit of the difference. Delaware County had EMS for city and county. We just currently have the EMS for city, but it should be the majority of the calls. But we still don't it seems like, that's a very good question. What's going on? What's happening with the EMS program, that it's not funding the way that it was under the leadership of Chief Rachel Clark, whoever that could be. It is what it is. They'll always appropriate funds under the guise of giving raises, then do workaround. Yeah, absolutely, collective. Okay, so moving on. We will then come up to Ordinance 4025, an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending Section 3239 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances, prerequisites to action and ordinance resolution. Okay. Rachel says we had millions when I was there. Yeah, that's a really good question. That's a question that probably needs to be asked of Chief Burford and the mayor. Now, I know Burford might give some kind of chat GPT answer, and Ridenour will just remain silent. So, but that is a good question to ask. I will shoot that question out to them. Okay. Moving on from Ordinance 4025, we're going to jump back and see what that is in the packet. So we're going to jump over here. Ordinance 4025, an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending Section 32.39 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances, prerequisites to action on ordinance resolution. And this was filed on October 20th, 2025. Okay, let's see what this is. This is what I thought this was. This is going to be interesting. Chapter 32, Division 2, the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances sets rules for the council, and whereas the Common Council has established requirements for the filing of ordinances or resolutions prior to such being eligible for consideration of the Common Council. So what brought this on? What brought this on was the fiasco with Dale Basham and Shireen Wagley and Resolution 16-25/17-25. Okay. Now, what I've noticed isn't on the agenda is anything where they are instituting 3208, but I'm going to bring that up to them where I think that they need to investigate, and I will probably talk to them about that during this ordinance. So we'll find out. Maybe they won't let me. If not, I'll bring it up at the end of the meeting, but we will get it out at some point tomorrow. Whereas the Common Council has established requirements for the filing of ordinances or resolutions prior to such being eligible for consideration by the Common Council, and whereas the Common Council wishes to amend those requirements to ensure that any ordinance or resolution placed on the agenda for consideration by the Common Council has been approved by a member of the Common Council, and now therefore it be ordained by the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, that follows. Section 32.39 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances shall be amended to read as follows. Prerequisites to action on ordinance/resolution. The city clerk shall not accept for filing any ordinance or resolution to be considered by the Common Council unless and until it has been approved by written signature thereon of a member of the Common Council and has been approved for form by a city attorney or attorneys for the Common Council. To ensure that the approval required in subsection A above has been obtained, each ordinance or resolution shall be filed in person or by electronic mail by the member of Common Council that signed the ordinance or resolution, or the attorney that approved the form of the ordinance or resolution that is being filed. Each ordinance or resolution submitted, which conforms to the requirements of subsections A and B, shall be given an identifying number that placed on the agenda of the first regular council meeting occurring at least 14 days from the date of filing. If the 14th day prior to the next regular council meeting is a holiday or other day on which the clerk's office is closed, the ordinance or resolution shall be placed on the agenda for the next regular council meeting if filed on the first day thereafter the clerk's office is open. The city clerk shall distribute the ordinance or resolution to members of the Common Council at least 7 days prior to the meeting at which the ordinance or resolution will be first considered. Each ordinance or resolution filed in accordance with this section shall be eligible for consideration at the next regularly scheduled council meeting. No ordinance shall be adopted on the same day at the same meeting that it is introduced except by unanimous consent of the Common Council if there are present and voting at least 2/3 of all elected members of the Common Council. The consent of a simple majority in those present and voting shall be required to suspend the rules for council for any other purpose. Any ordinance or resolution may be amended at any point in the proceedings by a majority vote, and the amendment shall not need to comply with the filing requirements of this section. Any ordinance or resolution except ordinances amending the comprehensive zoning code may be withdrawn and consideration upon the oral request of the member of the Common Council that approved and signed the ordinance for resolution for filing. Ordinances to amend the comprehensive zoning code may... Hold on. My eyes are watering. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. May be withdrawn by the applicant with the consent of the majority of the members of the Common Council present at the time of the withdrawal. The date in the ordinance officially brought before the Common Council is the date in the ordinance introduced by the Common Council at a regular or special meeting. No ordinance or resolution affecting a specific department shall be adopted unless and until the head of the department or his designee appears before the Common Council to answer inquiries the Common Council may have regarding the ordinance or resolution. Section 2, the ordinance shall be in full force and effective from after its passage by the Common Council of the City of Muncie. Yada, yada, yada. Adopted. Let's see who signed this. Nora Powell. Okay. So this is interesting to me. Why would Dale Basham not have put this forward? You would figure that this is something that Dale Basham would have put forward, because he's the one that they screwed over. Let's see. Yeah, they've already just typed out what will go in the book. Okay. So there's that. It is what it is, and yeah, I think that's okay. I'm all in favor of this. I will say that this, to me, does not stop Dan didn't do this. This is not Dan. Dan doesn't put the ordinances forward. No. So anybody can put an ordinance forward. The administration just puts a lot of them forward, but this is something that Nora brought forward after the last fiasco. So, real quick, because the collective's asking a good question that a lot of people might not know. So, in the state of Indiana, you obviously have town government, city government, county government at a local municipal level. Then there's obviously township government, and there's state government, and then there's federal government. On the local municipal government, the town and county government is the same in all towns and all counties throughout all of Indiana. City government is not the same for every city throughout Indiana. City government is broken up into 3 different subsections. City government is broken up into first-class cities, second-class cities, and third-class cities. The state of Indiana technically right now only has and still has, and forever will only have one first-class city. The only first-class city in the state of Indiana is Indianapolis. And that first-class city allows it to do the unigov, where their city and the county is combined, and it's a whole big thing. They have the city-county building. They have the city-county council. They don't have commissioners. They don't have city council and county council. They have a city-county council. They've got a mayor and all of that. There's a lot of different things that happen there. The rest of the governments in the city, in the state of Indiana, that are cities are either second-class cities or third-class cities. And the majority of them are third-class cities. They are cities where you have city councils of 5 people. So you'll have District 1 counselor, District 2 counselor, District 3 counselor, District 4 counselor, and District 5 counselor that's at large. Not District 5, but the 5th counselor is at large. So you have 4 districts and 1 at large. And then you have the mayor who's over the government. And they do government a certain way. In second-class cities, which are the bigger cities, you have 7 or 9 council members, and most of them are 9, where you'll have 6 districts and 3 at-large councils. Then you have the mayor. And in a second-class city, anybody can come up with an ordinance. I could come up with a ordinance and push it forward. But in order to get it on the agenda, it has to be signed by a council member, one of the 9 council members. It has to be signed by the council attorney or the city attorney. So there's 2 different, the council attorney's one, or the city attorney. And it has to be signed by the controller. It doesn't always have to be, at least if it's signed by the, it does if it requires money by the controller. So as long as the city councilor signs it and an attorney signs it, you're good. So basically what happens in a situation like this, Nora Powell is a city councilor. She saw a problem on the council, which is the problem where what we saw in the last couple of months, where the mayor's administrative assistant put forward a resolution to be on the agenda, acting like she had the authority to do so by Councilor Dale Basham. And they put it on the agenda, and it was on the agenda, and Dale Basham's signature was on it, but he didn't sign it. That signature was used from a previous resolution. So basically, it was I'm not saying she committed fraud. I'm not saying she committed a crime, but I'm just using the looser word. It was fraudulently put forward because she did not have his authority to be doing so. So this is trying to clear this up. So Nora, a counselor who saw that problem and has an issue with how that was done, said, hey, we need to clear this up. Probably talk to the clerk's office, talk to the city attorney or the city council attorney, the city council attorney whipped it up. She read through it. She liked it. She signed off. He signed off, and voila! That's how we have an ordinance. So I'm in favor of this. This is good. They need to have these rules. It's crazy to me that this wouldn't have already been in place. This should have already been in place. It's sad that she is the reason they had to make new rules, yet wasn't held accountable at all, talking about Shireen Wagley. Yeah, right? This needs to be brought up, and I doubt they will. I'll wait to see what they do. But if they don't bring this up, and they don't bring up 3208, I will be ready tomorrow to bring up 3208. I have a copy for the city clerk. I have a copy for all 9 council members. I have a copy for the mayor if he wants one. And I have my copy. And I will read this tomorrow. And I will ask them to do something with this tomorrow. And again, this is Muncie Code of Ordinances, Section 3208, Investigatory Powers. A, the Common Council may investigate the departments, the officers, and employees of the city, any charges against a department, an officer, or an employee of the city, and or the affairs of a person with whom the city has entered into or is about to enter into with a contract. When conducting an investigation, the Common Council is entitled to all records pertaining to the investigation and may compel the attendance of a witness and the production of evidence by subpoena and attachment served and executed in Delaware County, Indiana. If a person refuses to testify or produce evidence at an investigation conducted under this section, the Common Council may order its clerk to immediately present the circuit court of the county a written report of the facts relating to the refusal, and the court shall hear all questions relating to the refusal to testify or to produce evidence, and shall also hear any new evidence not included in the clerk's report. If the court finds that the testimony or evidence sought should be given to or produced, it shall order the person to testify or produce the evidence or both. And I am calling for Muncie's Common Council, all 9 members, to enact this investigatory powers ordinance and to find out what in the hell happened with Resolution 1625/1725. And if you keep on watching, we're going to add something to that here in just a moment. And yeah, that's good to hear, Rachel. Be safe. So that is that's that. Okay, moving forward, we now go from ordinances. Oh yeah, that's a very good possibility, Stumblefoot. Moving on to resolutions. We hear resolution of the city of Muncie, Indiana, recognizing the importance of civility, condemning hateful rhetoric, and promoting unity in community leadership. Now, I will admit, when I first read this Thursday evening, I kind of flipped my lid for a minute. Because when I first read this, it seemed to me that they are talking to like the citizens, but upon further reading, specifically upon further reading of the actual packet of the actual resolution, I am now aware that they are not directing this at citizens. They are directing this at other elected officials. So, like, for example, if the council passes this resolution, first of all, a resolution is not an ordinance. So there's no teeth to this. They can pass this, and then it means absolutely nothing. Somebody can do whatever they want to do or say whatever they want to do. A resolution is nothing. A resolution is a feel-good document. It is not. It's not ordinance. It's not law. It's not the way that it's going to be. It's just like hey, this is nice and feels good. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. Second thing to keep in mind, and I will tell you, so if they pass this resolution, if the council passes this resolution, basically what this would do is, I guess, kind of stop other council members from being mean and hateful to other council members. Or, for example, like the human rights president that said the comments about Charlie Kirk. And it wasn't really about Charlie Kirk. It was about Republicans in the city of Muncie or other conservatives that he was calling on and calling for murder. He was calling for murder. He was calling for more violence, more murder. He was calling for violence on conservatives. And it was political in nature. Okay. That being said, because of what he said, I didn't even care that it was political. I cared that he was calling for violence. And I feel like it was taken care of. And he resigned. So it wasn't like they even did anything to him. He, on his own accord, resigned. Okay. I'm still questioning this because who gets to decide what is hateful? Is what, right? I'm getting ready to keep that up for a second. Is what Ridenour said hateful to Norick? Not Norick, Nora. Is what, I'm combining cities and counties. Is what Ridenour said a couple weeks ago hateful to Nora? Is Nora, when she questions Craig Wright, is that hateful? Eric says, I hope they have a lot of definitions with that resolution. Some think that stating the truth, even politely. Yeah, absolutely. And they don't. The resolution 1825, I will show you here. It's 3 pages long. And I will tell you, it was put forward by Councilor Rose Selvey. I have not been able to I have not been able to ask her what this is about. But I'm pretty sure I know, but I am going to reach out to her. And I agree. I agree absolutely, Snubblefoot. I absolutely agree with your statement. I'm probably not specifically going to fight for someone's right to hate somebody. I'm going to fight for someone's right to be able to say they hate somebody. I have no problem fighting for someone's ability to speak, even when that speech is something that I don't like. I am a First Amendment purist, and I have no problem with that. That said, I don't even... The issue that idiot wasn't about Charlie Kirk. It was that he specifically called on violence for people in the city that he represented. And I think that... I think that is different. And now there will be people who be like, that's not what he meant. That's what he said. That's what he said. He called for violence on people in the city. He specifically called for violence on the people who were to come before him. And again, he wasn't forced out. He wasn't pushed out. He resigned, and anybody had a right to ask him to resign the same way that he had a right to say what he wanted to say. But he resigned in the end of his own accord. So nothing really happened there. So we don't have to test on, well, was it really right for them to call? Because what he said, whatever. He did it in the end on his own. So that's good. I'm leery of this. Oh, yeah, that's exactly right, Rachel. Yeah. These people have no understanding. He was like flipping people off from the dais and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, they would never have been able to exist. That's nuts. So this isn't the council attempting to silence or censor or change the citizens' quote unquote rhetoric. So it's a little bit different for me, but I'm still going to be very watchful of this and mindful. Here's my belief. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is not needed. Resolution 1825 is not needed. Here's what I will say. I don't know who they're going to put in place to police this, and I don't trust anybody. If they said, we're going to put Kristopher Bilbrey in place to police this, I would say, I don't trust that. I don't trust that because I have biases and I'm not the right person to put in place to police this. Neither is anybody else. Furthermore, we already have laws. So if someone does and or says something that breaks the law, let's handle it. If someone does or says something that we don't like, let's ask them to step down or resign. If they don't, let's find out if we have any recourse. And at the end of the day, if we don't, well, we certainly do on election day, and we can speak up and stand up and do what we need to do and deal with that. We can also voice our displeasure out about it and be the voice of opposition. This is not needed. This is just to feel good, make us feel like everything's, everything's okay. We live in the land of Mr. Rogers. Everything's wonderful again. This is just a feel good nonsense. So whatever. All right. Moving on. Now we're to the biggie. We're to the biggie here, ladies and gentlemen. Resolution 1925. This is the last bit of business from the council on the agenda. And it's my belief that this is probably what caused the agenda to be amended. I don't know that for certain, but I probably believe that this got added on last of the go. I don't know that for sure. It was filed on October 20th, so maybe not. I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I don't know. We'll see. So what is Resolution 1925? Well, Resolution 1925, ladies and gentlemen, is a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana. They've messed up some letters in there. It's relating to the financing of a fire station project and approving a form of taxpayer petition in connection therewith. Where have we heard? Where have we heard of Resolution 1925? Have we ever heard of that resolution before? Ever, anywhere? Is there anywhere we've ever heard about that? I don't know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will remind you that Resolution 1925 is basically the same resolution as Resolution 1725 that appeared on the October agenda. And for those of you that don't remember, Resolution 1725 says, now look at 1925, okay, and listen to what Resolution 1725 is. Resolution 1725 is a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, relating to the financing of a fire station project and approving a form of taxpayer petition in connection therewith. Okay? And if you're like, wait a minute, Resolution 1925 and Resolution 1725, well, they sound a lot alike. I would say, first of all, they sound identical, and they do sound a lot alike with another resolution, and I want to read this one to you. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, is Resolution 1625, and this is from the September council meeting. And Resolution 1625 reads as follows. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, relating to the financing of a fire station project and approving a form of taxpayer petition in connection therewith. So, Resolution 1625 from September, that was filed in August. Resolution 1725 from October, that was filed in September. And Resolution 1925, that was for this tomorrow's meeting, that was filed in October, are all three the same resolution. Going back in time, Resolution 1625, that was filed originally by Councilor Dale Basham. Well, he withdrew it before they took any action because he said he wanted to get the budget taken care of before this was brought up. So it was withdrawn. Nothing happened in September. That made the mayor mad. So then when it came time for the next, and I want to show you here. This was Dale's signature in August for the September meeting. I'm going to show you right here. There it is. Okay. And when he withdrew this at the September meeting, it made the mayor mad. So then when we get to the October meeting and Resolution 1725 is on the agenda, and we find out who signed off on it, it was Dale Basham. We're going to go look at that signature again. Here it is. It's the same damn signature. Matter of fact, all three of these are the same signatures. Matter of fact, what? You can tell where it was gone over in blue and then traced in black. His signature looks weird because that's something that's strange. Like he drew it in blue, or maybe it's a really dark blue. I don't know, but it looks bluish black. Okay, so that's Resolution 16 and Resolution 17. So at that meeting, Councilor Mason, I believe, says, maybe it was Councilor McIntosh. I think it was McIntosh, says, why did you withdraw this to just put it back on? And Basham says, well, I didn't do it. So that's when we found out that Shireen Wagley used this signature wrongly. Well, so now let's jump forward and look at the signature on 19. Okay, let's look at the signature on Resolution 19 because I heard that after the fiasco at October, I heard that Dan was absolutely mad at Dale. And he was running around saying that he had totally screwed him over and that he had single-handedly killed the fire department deal. Well, so that's the very first thing that I wanted to do when I got down here and I looked at this signature on 1925. And so we're going to look at it right here. And it looks like this. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a different signature. I can say I've tried putting it over top, and it is definitely a different signature. There's a lot. I mean, this man single-handedly signs his name so very similar each and every time. I mean, my signature's the same, but you couldn't put any one of my signatures over the top of any other signature and add it up. It would never. My signature is it is overall similar, but it's like a snowflake. You know what I mean? Just could not do it. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I was shocked to see Dale Basham. I was shocked to see Dale. Why would Dale be the one to put this forward? Is he not upset? It blows my mind. Is he not upset? I don't. Yeah, for those of you who see, there's the Kristopher Bilbrey signature, and you could not put any of those over top of each other. There's just I write like a right-handed, right-footed gorilla with my right foot been cut off, and I need to do it with my left foot. And I've also got other issues. I've been ran over with a car. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm shocked that this guy is just coming back and being like, well, okay, I'll sign off on it, sir. You know, it really it shocks me. It lets me know that he's not going to call for any type of investigation into the fraudulent behavior with his signature. So it's not going to be him doing it. It's so very disappointed. I'm so very disappointed that I'm looking at this, Jackie, what you sent me. This is this is not black ink. This is a copy. I guarantee you what you've sent me here, Jackie, if I got the original from the clerk's office, it would be blue ink. Yeah, but because listen, I was in the front row of the audience, and he was so mad about this when it first happened. Let me say, it doesn't surprise me. Let me back up. I'm saying that for the show. It doesn't surprise me. I know he's going to do. I know that when the mayor was mad at him, it broke his heart. It just broke his little heart, his precious heart, I imagine. And I know that he was upset. Hey, Rachel, if you're getting ready to go and don't leave, I need you to be here for this last. I'm getting ready to move on to the second topic, the last topic. evening, and I need you to be here for this because we're going to disagree a lot about this. We're going to finally get to have this out. So don't go anywhere just yet. Yeah, he has zero backbone. This doesn't surprise me one bit. It is what it is. Dale Basham is who Dale Basham is. He's wanted nothing more than to be. He's wanted nothing more than to be elected and to be part of the good old boys club and to be in there and being a voice and a vote for the mayor. And he is, man. I tell you, even when he, what the hell? What did you send, Kate? What do you got to lick? I'm confused. What's happening? Anywho, I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. Just not. I don't know. I'm surprised. We'll see. I've got several questions that I'm gonna put forward. I had questions I told you about at the. Well, I'm not gonna read the questions, but I can tell you what they're about. I can let you know what these questions are about. Now let's just talk about real quick what this resolution means. This resolution is for the starting phase of an $11 million new fire station construction project on the corner of Ball State University that needs to apparently be so much because of what needs to be there for Ball State University. So what I want to do, I get it. I'm like, what is going on? I thought you told me something that you were doing. I was confused. So what I want to know about is, have we sat down with Ball State University and asked them how much money they're putting forward? Now, I know that there's been back and forths between President Mearns of Ball State and Mayor Ridenour, or should I say Shireen Wegley, Mayor Shireen Wegley. Shireen Ridenour. I don't know. She's got such an identity crisis. She thinks that she's the mayor. She knows that she's the mayor. She believes that she runs this entire city. There are so many people that work in and around Dan that are so absolutely morally and politically bankrupt. And they think that if they weren't there, the city just wouldn't run. And it's not just Shireen Wegley. There are a lot of people that are around him that think that, they're in a position that apparently they're always going to be in. That they've, had this amazing rise to these positions where they're just the end all be all, and everybody needs to see them for who they are, and they are what makes the city go round. And it's just like, dude, what do they take you? What do they give you when you're going in and you're telling people that you're Jesus and that you're curing people down on 12th Street? Thorazine or something like that. It's like, hey, could we get a shot of that over here? Haldol, not Haldol. Maybe a mixture of those drugs. Whatever. All of them. Could we get some of that, and could we regulate yourself a little bit? Let's just relax here. we need to push back against this. I'm going to stand up when I first start to speak on the fire department deal. I'm going to say, hey, we've pulled the rug out from underneath Ridenour and the people he's lined up to be here for the last 2 months in a row. Can we go ahead and just make it a hat trick? Let's just make it a hat trick. Let's do 3 months in a row just for good measure. And if he really wants it, they can come back next month and we can talk about it then. That's what I'm going to say when I first stand up. Then I'm going to get in serious about it. At least lithium. Yeah, right. So, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed that we got to be here again, and this fight's gonna, because it's not like it gets voted on tomorrow and it's done and over. If they vote on what they're voting on tomorrow, that's just a little piece. But we have to start this fight. The last fight for the first fire station deal took about 2 years. So I just know that we're going to be, in a fight. And I know like hell, it's going to take us into the next re-election deal. And it's going to be part of a re-election bid. And it's going to be such a shit show. So all of that, it's all going to come out at the meeting tomorrow. We're going to talk about it there. The meeting starts at 7 p.m. The public hearing starts at 6:45. We will be live streaming it as long as the city is live streaming it. It should be good to go. Who knows? But we will be here. It'll be there. I will be at the meeting. I'll be there in rare form. And then after the meeting, Jackie says, Chris, what I sent you was Ordinance 2925, the University Avenue's proposed changes. 2 days ago, Nora P. posted that 2925 is supposed to be taken off the table for Monday night's council meeting and to be voted upon. I don't see it on the agenda you're reviewing. Yeah, so because it's tabled, so it wouldn't be on the agenda. So they tabled that. Did they table it? Yeah, they did. They tabled that. Let me go back, just double check here. I just want to double check. I can look here. That's a pretty good that wouldn't be what's caused the meeting to be amended. Let me go to the October 6th meeting. Yeah, okay, 2925. Okay.
I like to let the people know that are watching too. There's help out there for you. Don't think you're all alone in this, because no one fights alone in that.
Right. Chosen so that we can announce it right here during the meeting. So that's what we discussed, the date.
Okay, that's my deal.
Road diets on that.
Okay, here's
but that
2925.
We would consider.
Let's see what they do at the end of this.
Fully protect this. It right into the city. Are there 3 different options? And obviously bus service only to the neighborhood.
Allies. But part of this project that we support are the artistic crosswalks.
Okay. So you're not necessarily, you don't have a position.
Town, once again, helping both thrive together.
Okay.
As
A second.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Green to table. Seconded
to
by
table.
Councilman Bash. I'm going to finish the public discussion first.
No, there's no discussion.
No.
No vote.
Roll call.
Okay, so we get to vote.
Okay.
Vote, roll call. Okay,
Roll
roll
call.
call. Ms. Selby? Yes. Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Bowen?
Yes.
Mr. Basham?
Yes.
Mr. Dishman?
Yes,
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Okay, so they tabled it. They tabled it on October 6th. So, Jackie, thank you for sending that. I didn't see that in Nora's little. I don't commonly watch Nora's thing all the time unless I'm looking for something specifically, but that's so that wouldn't be on the agenda. That would just be something that could get brought up at some point tomorrow if they want to remove it from the table. It can be brought off the table. So that sounds like it's going to be something they're also going to discuss that we haven't discussed, and it's the whole bike lane thing between Ball State and downtown Muncie. And it'll be interesting to see because there's a whole big push on this. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot going on. So if you want to watch the meeting, you can watch it right here. We will be live directly following the meeting. I think that this meeting is going to take a little bit of time. I don't think it's going to be a real long one. But tomorrow's episode 551 is already up. Now, I will definitely watch tomorrow, and I will make sure that we live stream under the actual live on location feed, and that we will actually go live tomorrow on episode 551 after the meeting on the right feed. So that'll all be normal tomorrow. We won't cause the chaos we did last time. I apologize about that still. But we will be live as soon as the meeting ends tomorrow, at least to talk about what happened and what didn't happen. So that'll be there. So if you want to follow all of that, tune in tomorrow. You should. Before we go, I have to talk about this very important topic. I have to talk about this very important topic. So number one, collective, that's a lot, very true. Fortunately, City Muncie doesn't use the tabling too bad here, and normally when they use it, they pull it off pretty quickly and deal with it. But yeah, that very well can be like that. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up. The second topic of tonight and the closer topic for the show is Kristopher Bilbrey is a scumbag. That was what I put on the thumbnail, and it's because of a topic that I commented about on social media. On Friday, I made a comment about a Star Press article, and it's like a lot of other topics I talk about here. It is a delicate, touchy topic, but that doesn't stop me from that doesn't cause me to shy away from it. It doesn't stop me from covering it or talking about it. So before I launch into this, again, I put the header out here that I am not a journalist. I don't consider myself a journalist. I have never considered myself a journalist. I am an opinion person. I consider myself a political commentator, a community commentator, an opinion person. I talk about politics, talk about community, talk about goings on, talk about things outside of politics frequently. Just depends, but it's based from my opinion. I'm a very blessed individual. I'm not the most intelligent person in the world. I am not the, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my hand or my mouth or my ass. I come from a very moderate family, a divorced family, but a family where love was here. Even through the divorce, there was a lot of love. My family got along. I have the best of both worlds. On my mom's side of the family, I had a big family I had a sibling and that I grew up with, and a lot of cousins and grandparents and aunts and uncles, great aunts and uncles, and people that we would go on vacation with and do all of this. And it was a big family that you could absolutely get lost in the mix on, but everybody was in and tumbling and part of it. And it was all fun and family and carry on. On my dad's side, I was the only child. For the longest time, I was the only child. My brother on my dad's side was born when I was 19. So although we have grown closer in the last 10 years, for the first 15, 16 years of his life, I was not really in his life. I was out in college and doing my thing. And, we didn't grow up together. So we were more like oh no, hold on. That was horrible. That would have been bad. Oh no, I got to fix him. Okay. Anyways, we'll have to take care of that afterwards. I was more like an uncle nephew to him. Okay. So I had a great family, but I have been blessed to have had a lot of experiences in my life. I spent a good portion of the very first part of my adult life into older life as a law enforcement officer. I was a police officer. I worked patrol. I worked general felony investigations. I worked sex crimes. I worked narcotics, both uniform narcotics, plainclothes narcotics investigations. I've done a lot of stuff. I worked in the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office as an investigator there. Left there. I've worked for my father's company. I was a car salesman. I've been in politics since I've been 10 years old. So I've lived a life that I've had a lot of experiences. So that's the reason I use my experiences to comment. I'm also very outgoing, and I don't care to rub people the wrong way. I have thick skin, and I talk about topics that I think are important. I also want to be very clear. And a lot of people don't know this, but I have a very weird approach to death and outlook on death and things like that. I'm a believer, so I'm a Christian, and I use that and I cling to that when I deal in times of tragedy and whatnot. But I've dealt with a lot of, in my law enforcement career, I've dealt with a lot of unnatural death. And things like that. And I've in my personal life, I've dealt with death from sickness and cancers and just various other things. In 2015, my uncle, and my blood uncle, my mother's brother, who was younger than my mother by several years and only a little bit older than me, he was more like an older brother than an uncle. In 2015, he hung himself in a closet, and my mother and my grandmother, his sister and his mother, found him. And it was so out of, like, there was nothing that led any of us to believe that was going to happen. He had lived a crazy life, a wild life, but it wasn't like we were like, oh God, he's really depressed, or, we're worried about this. It just is something that happened. Okay. And because of the way that it happened, it was very traumatic. And it wasn't the first closest loss to me. The first closest loss to me was another uncle, my dad's side, who I'd cared for through cancer. But this was just a total shock. Okay. And so I've been touched with suicide. So I want to first of all say that I'm not talking about suicide just, crazy out of my ass where I have no experience with it. My family's done a lot with suicide, trying to help suicide prevention and do all of that. I went to school, went to Ball State for psychology. I counseled in the Delaware County Jail, and wanted to get my PhD in clinical psychology and do things in that world. So it's not like something where I'm just talking about this completely out of my ass. And I know that this topic can be a very touchy topic. Can be a very touchy topic. And so I want to be clear there. Okay. On the 29th of October, which was Wednesday the 29th, the last week, the Star Press ran an article, and the article said this: apparent suicide reported on train tracks in South Muncie. An apparent suicide on Muncie's South Side on Wednesday morning, October 29th, is under investigation. Emergency responders were called to train tracks near Cherry and 9th Streets shortly after 7 a.m. Initial indications were that a person had laid down on the tracks as a train approached. Delaware County Coroner Gavin Green was investigating the death. He identified the deceased person as a 22-year-old man from Muncie. So this is like a child. I mean, God, 22 years old. Like, this person was just starting, and just tremendous, horrible, mind-numbing loss. Just to think about the pain that this person was going through and the struggles that he was facing and the demons that he was dealing with. Who knows? I have no idea. I don't know anything about this individual. And I am not in any way taking from this kid's story, his family's story. I am so filled with emotion over this, and my thoughts and my prayers with and for this family. I don't know who they are. I have no clue who they are. I don't know that this has been announced. I don't know that it should be announced. But there's a family in Muncie or elsewhere that are hurting from this, and it's just I know what they're going through. It's a tragedy that not everybody's been touched with. Everybody's been touched with death. But a death like this, such a violent, unexpected death, is, especially of a young person, is a different type of a death. And so very sorry for that, Stumblefoot. And so that's that. I read this article when it first came out on the 29th, and I said a silent prayer for these people and for that young man, and that was it. And I had noticed that in the comments when it was first posted, that there were individuals that were saying this was really close to the crisis center. The crisis center doesn't open till 8. I wonder if this young man tried to go there. I wonder if this young man had been there but had been kicked out because they close at 5 o'clock. There were people of Muncie who were talking about this. And there were people in there that were going back and forth on whether they should be questioning that, whether they shouldn't be questioning it. And they were talking back and forth and battling it out. And so I left it alone on the day of. And I said my thoughts and my prayers different places, and I left it alone. And then October 30th comes, and I didn't say or make a comment about it. That's 24 hours from the event. And then on Friday, 48 hours from the event, over 48 hours from the event, I read and I see that there are people now that are in this comment that are talking about their own experiences. They are now no longer talking about this young man. They're in this young man's story in the comments talking about how in the last 2 years they have been in crisis and they have sought help in Muncie and been turned away. A couple people said they had even tried to seek help from the crisis center and had not been able to get help, that they had called in the evening and got no answer, that they had been there and would been turned away, that they had been in the presence of law enforcement, firefighters, EMS, and had not been able to get the help that was needed. Now, I want to put a pause right here and say, I've been in public safety, and I know that there are good psychologists and psychiatrists in Muncie that can help people, but oftentimes those things are expensive, and there's a barrier for people who need it that can't get in there. Outside of that, we do have good qualified help at IU Ball Health Memorial Hospital, whatever the health's name is now. There's a lot of good help there. I'm not a big fan of Meridian, but there's help at Meridian. There are a lot of church services and places that you can go looking for help, and various things that you can do going for help. There are places that you can go to for help in Muncie. But when you're in the middle of the craziness and the demons are talking to you and all the crap's going on in your life, and you're in the middle of drug withdrawal and you're been thrown out of your house or you're homeless or whatever, you're not always thinking about, well, let me pick up my phone and Google and get Ball Hospital. Or you're not all thinking, I'm going to walk the 5 miles it takes to get to Ball Hospital. Or you don't have the money to get a ride to Ball Hospital, or you don't think about calling the police, or no one else. There's things that are barriers to the decent help that we have. But one thing that we were promised 2 years ago, when Mayor Ridenour was gearing up, 3 years ago, when Ridenour was gearing up to run for campaign, was he was going to put this crisis center in place, and it was going to be open 24 hours a day, and you couldn't stay there and you couldn't live there. You couldn't be there for more than 23 hours, but they would be there and they would help you and they would do what they could. And it was going to be IU. It wasn't going to be Meridian. It was going to be, top notch. And it was going to be the very best for narcotics use and abuse and withdrawal. And it was going to be crisis center and people in crisis and domestic and all this. And the police could take people there and people could go there themselves and people from out of county could come. And it was going to be a fantastic place. And I sat back here and I said, no, it's not going to be. It isn't going to be. Dan is using this as a political football. This is a campaign piece. Don't buy into this. And I was called every name in the book. People were telling me that I was wrong, that I was bad, stand by. I got to get a water. Stand by. Hold on 1 second. No more hand. I have a refrigerator up here now. What do you think of that? Okay. So I was called every name for trying to tell people to be wary, to be cautious of this. And then it came out. It's been open since February, and we know the joke that it is. Folks, I'm telling you right now, mark my words, that crisis center will be closed in short order. It is going to not be here for much longer. They are having trouble staffing it. They're having trouble getting people to work there. People are quitting left and right. What are you talking about, Stumblefoot? Whose thoughts? Who you talking about, man? So the crisis center wasn't what Ridenour promised. And it's just not. And that is a topic that I don't hear enough people talking about. I don't hear anybody talking about it. Everybody thinks it's wonderful. Everybody thinks it's wonderful. It's not. It isn't. It isn't. And that's a problem. And more people should talk about that. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to launch into the second part of this. No, I don't think the people talking down about me or the people who are saying I'm wrong, I don't think they're Christmas think those people's thoughts are relevant. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were going the other way. I misread that. I thought you were saying I was thinking that they were irrelevant. No, so I will tell you. No, listen, I think everybody's voice is relevant. I think people can be ignorant. People can be wrong. People can be stupid. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to say their thought and their opinion. They don't have a right to be listened to. And I know when I'm right, and I know when people are wrong, and I'm okay with it. And I don't let people bother me. I'm okay to debate people, and I'm okay. I'll even give them space for their voice because I think, that's what I do. But no, I don't think those people are not. They're relevant, but they're not. It's a whole big thing. But I get what you're saying. I misread what you said there. Sorry, buddy. So I read this post and I saw these people talking about this, and I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about this. And it's going to be iffy. It's going to be touchy. And I knew I was going to take heat for it. I knew I would take heat for it. So I made a post where I shared 2 pictures. Okay. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I shared here. I shared a picture of the news article. There's the picture of the news article. It's just a real quick little blurb. 1, 2, 3. It's 4 sentences. 4 sentences. And then I shared a picture of the crisis center. Not what the crisis center is, but the crisis center that we were promised. This crisis center here in this picture, well, it was open. It's open 24 hours a day. And there's lots of people in there helping people, and people are getting seen and treated. That's not what we got. Okay. And I made the following comment. I made the following post about this. Man, this is so sad. So first off, I said, this is so sad. Such a tragedy. I feel like a lot of people missed those first 2 lines. Man, this is so sad. A bunch of O's, so it means I care. Such a tragedy. If only there were a place in Muncie to deal with people in crisis. Now we get down to the sarcastic line. If only there were a place in Muncie to deal with people in crisis. It's unfortunate that such a place doesn't exist. I suppose we as citizens will just have to continue dealing with these kinds of horrible situations. If only Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour had a 24-hour crisis center to assist people in crisis. Oh well. Now, obviously, that oh well is not coming like this. Well, a kid laid down in front of a train. Oh, well. I wouldn't, not even in trying to make a major political point would I say that. Not being sarcastic would I say that. I wouldn't say someone took their life, oh well. I said, if only we had a 24-hour crisis center to assist people in crisis. Oh well, we don't have that, so we'll continue dealing with what we have. That's what the oh well means. Now, the people on my main page, they got this. They got what I was saying. If you go and you look and you read the comments, and there were a lot of comments on my main page, the majority of the people commenting got what I was saying. I thought the same thing. I heard from a Meridian employee, they built a crisis center without staff, soon to be closed. I don't understand why IU Health Ball Hospital doesn't have help. It does have help. There were people that were saying things that weren't exactly correct, because there are places to help. And I clarified that. Eric saying that he got the message. A lot of people got the message. A lot of people got the message. I want to show you, though, there were a lot of people that, for one reason or another, didn't seem to get the message. And I don't, it's crazy to me how people perceive things, how people comprehend things. It's truly shocking to me that people can see things so wildly different. The exact same thing. And they can see things so wildly different. Let me see. Where are we at? Here, give me a second. Okay, right here. Oh, okay. I was like, I thought I'd been sending you this, Kate, but I found it. So you guys aren't going to be able to see this. I'm sorry, but you'll be able to see what it is, and I'll read it to you. So here, I posted it in another group. And the comment is, you are a terrible human being for being so flippant about a tragedy like this and to use this content for your own gain. Anonymous says, you're truly an awful person for trying to spin this politically. Another person says, did you just blame the mayor for a suicide? That's not right. There are many crisis lines, and many people in these positions may not try to get help. A lot of times it's drug crisis, and that's why our city needs a larger rehab. Wait a minute, L.A. Zachary. Did you just blame this and say that we need a larger rehab? And are you blaming the mayor for this? Emerald McKinney says, kind of weird and disgusting you turn tragedy into political for attention. Gideon Paul says, you're a scumbag using this tragedy for your own personal gain and trying to blame a politician for this problem. Oh, nope, that's another idiot. What are we doing? Someone else says, how very sad. God be with the friends and family of this person. Long lost friend says, oh, well, that's your response? You've got to be kidding me. You seem to be missing an integral part of the brain in which most of us were born with. You know, the part that allows us to feel empathy and sadness when confronted with stories like this? You need to find a new line of work. You are not cut out for this. There are so many resources for people in mental crisis. Using this for your own bullshit agenda is a low blow. Just wondering if you ever post something uplifting, maybe try to head a project to make a difference. You are a scumbag using this tragedy for your own personal gain, trying to blame a politician for hey, if more people out there could kill themselves, I could get ahead in life. Dude. What in the hell, man? It's just funny to me how people read this. Now, listen, this is not a oh boo me I'm so sad. Like, I don't care. It's funny to me how people read things. How two people, this is how misinformation and shit gets born, and that's a whole nother topic. But literally two different groups of people can read the exact same words and get something out of this. Now, what's really interesting about this, and I'm not mad about this, I really like this. And I'm gonna show you here, and this is very important. And this is, it doesn't seem like she's still here. Maybe she checked into a room. But I definitely want to show you this. So I posted it, and on my own wall, my co-host on the other show, Rachel, she commented on my wall, and she said, if I can find it, tell me you didn't go in here and dirty delete this. You better not have dirty deleted this, woman. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no. Whew, okay. Man, I was going to be really mad there for a minute. So Rachel commented under another person and says, Kristopher Bilbrey, I don't agree with this post. And that's all she shared. And somebody said, did you see Rachel didn't agree with your post? And I said, oh, no, that wasn't about me. That was about somebody else. That was about the person she was posting it under. And they were like, no, I think that was about you. And I called Rachel, and we were talking, just shooting the shit like we normally do. And I was like, oh, hey, by the way, that crisis center post you posted, I was like, what was up with your post? And she's like, I didn't like what you said. And I was like, what do you mean you didn't like what I said? I was like, you agree with everything I'm saying? And she's like, yeah, I didn't like it. I said, well, no. Then you got to say more than what you said, because I didn't get it. And a couple other people didn't get it, but some people did. I was like, I was like, say it with your whole chest, lady. And she was like, okay. She was out trick-or-treating with her kid. So I actually forced her to go back in and to comment more, because I wanted to hear what she had to say. So this is what Rachel said. Rachel said, and this is the weirdest I don't agree with you ever. So starting out with disagreeing with me, she says, I agree. That's generally not how I disagree with people. I normally don't start out disagreeing by being like, hey, by the way, I agree with you. So this is what she did. She says, Kristopher Bilbrey, I agree. And then her next line says, listen, this is such a weird disagreement. I agree, period. I agree with what you say. If more people would disagree with me the way that Rachel does, this world would be a much better place. I agree. I agree with what you say. Now she goes in to say, I just feel the timing was wrong, and there should be nothing commented on regarding his death other than prayers and support. Yeah, we're looking at it. I'm looking at it. What are you saying, weirdo? I'm looking at it. I can show it to you right here. Here it is. You said, I agree, period. I agree with what you say, period. That's your words right there. You say, I just feel the timing was wrong and there shouldn't be nothing commented on regarding his death other than prayers and support. What? Are you trying to tell me I can't have a First Amendment right to speak? No, that's insane. That's insane. So we can't comment about tragedy and say that there, there should be things to stop tragedy or try to prevent tragedy. People do that all the time. And that's not looked badly about. So she says, I agree with you. I just feel that the timing was wrong and there should be nothing commented on regarding this death other than prayers and support. Well, I had done that for the whole first 48 hours. I'd been praying and supporting all over the place. 48 hours, however, I made a post. She says, we can all fight the good fight tomorrow. So I had to give it 72 hours. So 72 hours would have been okay, but 48 hours wasn't enough. Right now, this person deserves the respect of not being a bargaining chip between you and hatred of the mayor. Well, this post isn't about hatred of the mayor. I don't like when people say that. I can disagree with the mayor without hating him. I don't hate Ridenour. I don't hate anyone. I don't hate Nora. I don't hate Sean Byram. I don't hate JD Prescott. Brandon hates him. I just really, really strongly dislike him. We can hate him tomorrow. I can get in line with her and hate. But today we pray. Your version of the events and mine are different in this topic. I don't know what you mean by that. So explain to me what you mean. I mean, all I can go by is what you're saying. I'm reading your words on this screen. All I can go by is reading the words on your screen. This word says, I agree. I agree with what you say. I just feel the timing was wrong and there should be nothing commented on regarding his death or other than prayers and support. We can all fight the good fight tomorrow. Right now, this person deserves the respect of not being a bargaining chip between you and the hatred of the mayor. We can hate him tomorrow. Today we pray. So I'll wait on your to type if you can. Be safe. I mean, don't do anything crazy and crash or whatever. Like I hope you're there now. But then I respond back to Rachel. I said, first, you and I agree about a lot. And I did. And look, I'm not mad at you. Like, I'm glad that Rachel is disagreeing. And I'm glad with that. That's the reason we have a show together. I don't need people to agree with me. What do I always say on here? First of all, nobody agrees 100% of the time. Nobody disagrees 100% of the time. It's somewhere in the middle. But you people, the people that love my show, you don't always agree with me, and you're not always going to agree with me. We can be adults about it, and that's why I like about Rachel. Rachel and I disagree about a lot of things. We are very good friends. We are very, very, very good friends, and we disagree about a lot. I like that. So I say, first, you and I agree about a lot and disagree about a lot. So this is great. That said, in response to your comment, nah. Listen, I lost an uncle who was more like an older brother to suicide in 2015. I understand the horribly gut-wrenching, how horribly gut-wrenching it is. Did this horrible tragedy happen because of Mayor Ridenour? No, and that's not what I'm saying. Did it happen because of something this shitty crisis center is or is not, or did or did not do? No, that's also not what this post is about. Look, I'm an opinion commentator, and the citizens of Muncie, including that young man, deserved and deserve better on a lot of different fronts currently. Addiction treatment, mental health treatment, crisis intervention, and many more other issues. Let's be real. This is not a fun topic. It's a delicate topic. And yes, I could have just not said anything and then talked about this in a couple of months. Hell, who knows? In a couple of months, this crisis center might not even be operational anymore. But things happen, and then the moment is gone. In a few weeks, this won't have drawn as much input. It sucks, and this topic might not be for everyone, and that's okay. It's also okay for people to disagree with me. There will be plenty of other things that you and others will agree with me about. And I'm sure there will be plenty of other things that you and others will disagree with me about. Hell, going back and reading your expanded comment, you even agree with me throughout most of your comment, disagreeing with me, LOL. But the point is for people to be able to have conversations, even when the topic might be uncomfortable. And then Rachel comes back and says, I don't like that you use this event to slam Dan. And okay, I can respect that. Is Dan a douche? Yes. Did the lack of crisis center cause this? No, which I had already beat her to the punch saying that. There are plenty of ways to get mental health treatment in Muncie. Could they use more? Sure. But just saying there are plenty of ways to get mental health treatment in Muncie doesn't mean he had access to them. However, or anyone else. I'm not even talking about this kid. I said about this kid, I said, this is so sad and this tragedy sucks. And that's all I said about the kid, other than the places that I said thoughts and prayers, my thoughts and prayers to the kid, my thoughts and prayers to the family, all of that. I'd said that with the day that it happened, the night that it happened, and 24 hours after it happened. 48 hours, I was now commenting with the people of Muncie who were having this conversation places where I felt they shouldn't be having this. They were commenting about this in the article, and I thought that the friends and family might be seeing that. And if I moved that conversation elsewhere, I'm actually helping the family. First off. Then can you call Messenger? Look, we got to get ready to wrap this up because I don't want to go too long. But can you call me on Messenger? Call me on Messenger and I'll put you on. I don't have my phone with me at the moment. I left it downstairs charging. Call me on Messenger. And I'm not saying one-sided. I'm using your words. Screw it. I'll call you. Stand by. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, right like this. Show me Rachel for 1,000. All right, stand by. We're dialing her. Ooh, I might have to change. Hold on. Is she... Rachel, are you here? What do you mean, which Rachel? What? I don't know more than one Rachel. I don't think. I'm trying to call you, Rachel. Hey, can you hear me?
I swear you have more technical difficulty than anybody I know.
Wait. I need to find out if everybody else can hear you. Can everybody else hear her? Okay, they say they can hear you. So how are you saying that this is one-sided? I'm reading from your words and then combating your words.
Okay, but there's a lot that went on before that conversation took place.
What do you
I
mean?
did not see it on your page. I saw it on the Muncie awareness page, and somebody posted about the train. I saw no comments about thoughts, prayers. I didn't know when it had happened. I just see the article of somebody getting hit by a train, and I see a couple people, saying, man, that sucks. And then I see you say, well, if the crisis center were here.
Oh,
so there was no other text messages.
So you took it out of context, not me.
No.
So you
I
should
took
have
it off of what I
found further
saw.
right, which means you should have found further context.
Oh my God, are you really gaslighting me right now? Okay,
No.
but that's the thing. How many people are on Muncie Awareness? How many people are on that page?
I don't know.
5,000?
Okay, what does that matter?
5,000 people didn't see all of your other comments. They saw the comment of the train hitting that kid, and then you saying, oh, well, if there was only a crisis center.
I'm going to go and look at what you're saying. You're saying on Muncie, on what page?
On the awareness page.
Delaware County Community Awareness or what?
No, the What's Happening Muncie or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, they deleted it off that stupid page. So so that's Muncie's so that's the problem. That's Muncie's liberal page.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's liberal or not.
But it is.
There were no
but no,
comments.
it does, because on
You're
all
wrong.
of no, well, I'm going to tell you exactly why this is right. So on the What's Up Muncie page, the majority of the people that comment are coming from a liberal bent. And everywhere else that my page was, those posts was, people understood what I was saying. But the people,
you can't turn it though I just feel like that there was a reason why I was like, dude, bad taste, because it was the post.
What was the reason? Tell me what that reason was.
It was the post about somebody killing themselves, and then you immediately in the comments going, if there was only ever a crisis center. There was not any of the stuff of people, like you said, that people had mentioned before about, the crisis center not being open and blah. None of that was on that page.
I don't know where that comment was. All I did was comment.
It looked like that you were but it looked like that you were one of those ambulance chaser type people who it's like you see a wreck in the paper and you just like slam it in. And that's what it looked like you were doing, was just taking that opportunity to dog the crisis center not being available. And there was no other context. It's like when you laid it out on the show just now, there was so many other things into it that you explained that I didn't see. How many ever thousands of people on Muncie page didn't see? I shouldn't have to go to 5 different resources to be able just to know what you're saying. Asshole.
But that's a problem between you and the 5 liberals that were attacking me. Everybody else that was
5
attacking
liberals?
seemed to understand that.
Well, but okay. But the liberals saw the same thing I saw. They didn't see your page of
not necessarily,
all of the
because I don't think you're
thoughts and
specifically a liberal thinker. These people are just saying, "Oh my," because these are the same. Those same people are the ones saying the crisis center is doing such a good job.
Okay, but you're saying the liberal thinkers. I saw the same thing they saw because I didn't see your page at the time, and I thought the same thing. And I am as far from being liberal. And your words are, we usually agree on things. We do agree in the circumstance, but the way that you worded it on that page was not the case.
I'm still trying to see it.
And that's why I said bad taste.
I'm still trying to find that thing. Because I didn't comment.
Well,
I didn't comment in anybody else's comment. I shared the comment, which should have given all the context that was needed.
Yeah, but there was nobody else's comments.
What
Just
about
what
the
you
point?
Put.
So what? All right. So what happens? And look, I love that your disagreement. I'm not giving you shit. We're just debating this. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I personally
I don't care if you like it or not. I disagree with you.
So
I don't disagree.
But you don't disagree. No.
Issues.
So, okay. So yeah, say that part again. So say that part again. You don't disagree, but you do disagree.
The issues, I disagree with how it was put into that article.
So when would have been appropriate time for me to put this in that post? In 3 months?
It's not about timing. It is about that you put it
you just said it
in
was
the
timing.
comments of that post. It was, they're talking about, it was pretty much like the scanner page portion of it. that they had went out on a call for somebody who had killed themselves on the tracks. And then there was like 2 people who had commented, and then you come in there and say, wow, if there was only a crisis center.
I would like if you could
And I was
find
like-
that for me. Could you think
I
you
was
could
like,
find that
seriously,
for me?
Bilbrey?
Do you think you could find that that post?
I don't know. You know me and my tech savviness. I mean,
know,
we're
and that's
asking
the
for a
problem.
lot.
What was that?
But then tonight, as you're like laying it out and you had this big prelude to all of the compassionate things that you said, none of those compassionate things were in that message.
So I have to wear
Like-
a T-shirt that says "My uncle hung himself in a closet in 2015" for me to be able to
No.
share opinion.
No. Quit putting words quit. What I mean by that is, and that is just my personal things that piss me off, is it's like whenever Charlie Kirk died, people were like, well, what about the school shootings? They're both important, but don't take away right now. We're talking about Charlie. So
Okay.
let's make this about Charlie. Then we
Okay.
also will have a conversation about the school shootings.
Okay.
But it's kind of like at that moment, whenever people were just reading, like I am not on the awareness that page all the time. I don't see things. I don't look at, I know this breaks your heart, but like, I don't watch your show all the time.
No,
I don't
I'm
read all of
aware.
your posts. So
Sure.
I had not seen all of that. I just see that. And I'm like, it was that, dude, that sucks. I literally had just seen it. And the last train suicide that I dealt with, or that, I had, was a Ball State student who actually was a good friend of one of the kids that grew up with the girls. And I had to bring those kids up to station. I mean, it was devastating to those kids. And so
you're putting some other personal issue into it.
no, it's not personal issue. It's just about having couth. And I felt like with what was posted in the comments was not, it could have been done more tactfully, of you making a separate post of, hey, seeing with the, and once again, not trying to put words in your mouth, but like just, hey, just saw this, blah, 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 blah. It was more of the way that you worded it. It was like, if only we had this, and the mayor didn't promise what he said, and it was supposed to be 24 hours.
So
To me-
so let me ask you, because my question is it more the way I guess that's the argument I'm trying to get to. Do you mean it was the way I worded it, or it was the way that you read it?
Wasn't that the same thing?
No, because one is you're talking about my bias and the other is yours.
Well, I feel like you're more biased than I am, so that would be on you.
Well, yeah, but you just feel that when you wake up, but that's not an honest opinion.
No, but when it comes to any chance for you to slay the mayor, and I support that most
It's not
of the time.
no. It's not slamming the mayor. It's
What?
talking
He
about a
deserves it.
crisis center being open.
That
If you
he
get rid
did
of the
not
mayor or
follow
whatever.
through with on his word.
Sure.
This is it. It is 100% Dan fucked up, like he does everything that he touches.
Okay.
But it was just, I think that it was literally the call from 911 and then your comment, and there was no other comments of people talking about the crisis center. You were
Folks,
the
I
only
wanna-
one talking about it.
I want to say this really quickly. Yeah, because I'm the only one that knows about it. No, everybody else thinks it's the 5 other people on there all think that it's working wonderfully. And a lot more thinks that it's open 24 hours a day. That's the other aspect of this. And that's not your fault. And maybe you know that, maybe you don't. But a lot of other people think that like this is working wonderfully. And I get it. Number one, that doesn't have anything to do with that kid's death. And I hate it with that kid. But I do want to put this in there because a couple moments ago, several times it sounded like you were cracking. She's not crying. I've beat her down into submission, but she's not crying. She's been sick for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I have no voice.
She sounds a lot better, but there a minute ago it sounded like you were doing that cry voice. She's sick,
yeah, no.
so that's what's that's what's happening.
The only time I cry is whenever I'm ready to punch somebody.
But I love it. No, I love it. That's the whole reason I wanted to do a show with you, because I know that you and I can fight and disagree about stuff, and I like that, and I like your take, and I definitely understand that, and that's what people need to be aware of. So we are not in all all spaces at all times. So when we read things, and this cuts both ways. So I'm gonna cut on Rachel, and then I'm gonna cut on myself. So maybe this is a great example of when we read something and we get fired up about something and we get ready to attack somebody for their thoughts. Maybe we first need to realize we don't know all other aspects of this and the argument around it. So we need to be cognizant of that. But cutting on me, when we write and share our opinion, we need to be aware when people attack us for that maybe everyone else doesn't know all of the other aspect that we've put into it or this or that. So that is a very good example of why people on social media, instead of just going, like this was not something that Rachel and I are going to be like, all right, we're never talking to each other again. Screw you. We're done. Like we talk it out and laugh. We were laughing before it. We were laughing during, we were laughing after, and everything's okay. And it's fine.
No,
But
and
some
here's
people will
where
go the
I
other
got
way.
aggravated
Mhm.
is you are a huge voice for the community. And when I feel that you don't put it the best, like with that, it was the way that it was worded instantly turned people away. And that frustrates me because I expect more when it comes to you, because you are a huge advocate and you are a huge voice. And I feel like that was one of the times that it was not your greatest moment.
So you feel that I should advocate in the way that you feel that I should?
No, I'm just saying, me personally, that was the time
Yeah.
that I was disappointed. I don't give a
Right.
shit how you do things, but if you continue to do stupid shit the way you did that one, I'm going to go, hey, dumbass, I don't like that.
Well, but that's not a continue. So you attack, you disagreed with me on the first time I did it.
Yes.
Okay. But now, okay, so now tonight with more information around it, is your disagreement still the same?
No, I mean, and that it's funny that you mentioned like how people interpret things,
Mhm.
because as I was driving and I was listening to you like read the comments, and it's in your tone and it's with your emotion. People can't read that emotion. They can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So as you were explaining it, it's like, well, I never saw any of that. I saw Muncie, what's happening, Muncie, the post, and then your comment. And
Interesting.
I never saw anything about anybody else talking about the crisis center, doing anything. It was literally your comment of the mayor, this doesn't have it. And I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. But then
even
again,
though you did fully agree about all that, you just didn't like the timing.
You literally just have to be told you're right, or that
No, I'm not. No. You don't got to tell me that. I'm reading. Let me go back to your comments. Your comment says, it's not me. I didn't say it. Your comments. Your comment says, I agree with you. I agree with what you say. I didn't say
I fucking
that.
hate your guts.
You said it.
No.
You said,
and I did.
Agree. I agree with what you say.
I agree with what you said. Like I said, I just feel that the timing of in that comment, there was no other comments that I saw. It was not in the best taste.
When this pops up in my memories in 10 years, I'm gonna delete everything except one, and then in 10 years, I'm gonna be like, and back in 1925, Ridenour should have had a crisis center there.
I am going to have killed you in your sleep long before then. I've already talked to your mother. I've got a key to the house. When I can't go through the phone and punch you right in the face, I'm just going to sneak in and smother you.
Yes. Oh, God. Are you driving down the road still?
No, I am actually sitting out in the parking lot of the hotel. Ryan's in the lobby waiting on me.
Oh, my God. Are there bears? Have you seen bears yet?
I've literally been here 5 minutes, and I'll see them first thing in the morning. They're out about 7 o'clock. If all of your listeners want to hear it, or I'll put pictures, I'll send them to you to put up, because
yeah. Send me some pictures.
The baby bear,
preferably
everywhere.
Ones that you don't run over this time. She ran over a bear one time, and it was all bloody, and she showed it to me, and I was like, no.
I didn't hit it.
Well, you didn't hit it. Somebody did, but then you sent me the picture of it.
And Mama Bear, you can hand feed pizza.
That's probably something I wouldn't do.
Oh, I absolutely plan on doing it.
You mean people do it? You can't do it. You shouldn't be doing it, but people do it. Is that what you mean?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Mama Bear lives here. So I've been coming down for 2 years now. And she makes herself at home where she knows how to work the automatic doors and let herself into the lounge.
That's amazing. Jesus.
Yep.
Okay, real quick, we're getting ready to go. Everybody, here's what you need to do in the comments in this debate. Here's going to be true, and don't look. Be dead straight up serious. Put a 1 in the comments if I won the debate. Put a 2 in the comments if Rachel won the debate, and we'll see what happens.
You are a dirty dog. They like you. They don't know me.
No, people
I'm just
disagree with
some
me.
random girl that
They
gets on
don't
the
give a
show
shit.
and gripes at you.
They don't care. They don't care about me.
No, they're going to be like, "Don't you talk about my Kristopher Bilbrey that way? Don't you
No,
dare!"
no. So we've already got 1 for you, and we've got somebody that's half. They're saying it was a tie. So we've got 1 vote for you and a tie. We'll see what everybody else says. Hold on 1 second. We're getting ready to wrap up the show here, folks. We're trying to get this. There's got to be more than 2 of you. Come on now. Get your fingers working.
We bored everybody. They went to bed.
Right,
like everybody has fallen asleep at this point. They're like, we don't want to hear these 2 bickering. I can hear that with my kids every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Hey,
right.
did you tell Stumblefoot that I talked about him in the episode, the alien episode?
I did. Oh God. Now everybody's going to do the 1.5 bullshit, people. You guys suck.
I love
you guys have to have bigger balls than that. It's okay to say she won. She didn't win, but it's okay to say it. Look, we started out the argument with her agreeing with me. She was lost from straight off the get-go.
No, but that's the thing with you. It doesn't have to. Everything is not black and white, Bilbrey.
It isn't. No, there's a large gray area. That's the thing. I agree.
Yeah, but you're sitting here asking for people to decide black or white, and that's not fair.
If I want
there is a gray area, and I can agree with what your feelings are, but I can also agree that it was not in the best taste from what I saw.
Yeah, right. From your bias. Okay. All right. Well, be safe.
And you're dramatic.
Be safe. Have a good trip. Get a hold of me and we'll go from there.
Okay. Have a good night. See ya.
All right. Tell everybody bye. Oh, well, she didn't want to tell you guys bye. All right, folks. That's going to do it for tonight. Listen, we got a big Muncie City Council meeting tomorrow. Big show afterwards. Tune in 6:45 for the council meeting. Sometime after the council meeting or 9 o'clock, whichever comes first. For episode 551. You guys take care. God bless. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Try to survive time change. Have a great work week, beginning of the work week. And I do want to offer thoughts and prayers for whoever this kid was, his family, and everybody going through it. There are people out there that care. The situation is never that bad. If you need help, call somebody. If you need 911, call 911. If you're thinking about doing something stupid and you need just somebody to talk to you, I don't give a shit. Give me a call and I'll get you in touch with somebody, or I'll talk to you or something. Maybe don't call me because I might tell, that might end badly. So no, seriously, there's always just pick up the phone. That's the number one thing. You don't realize the thing. What they say is people kill themselves that are in pain, but all that does is transfer the pain on to lots and lots and lots of other people. So keep that in mind, folks. You guys have a good evening. God bless each and every one of you. Take care. Good night. See you tomorrow. Good night.